castle. On the throne sits the king, next to them are his services. On the way up the steps, the old man. He's shackled. Shackles enchanted. A man is accompanied by guards. The crowd is watching everything that is happening. An old man sighs. Damn poison, thinks, as he said, distorted the flow of true magic in my body. But if I hadn't accepted it, hundreds of people under my protection. The old man grins quite funny. I understood the inevitability of this day. However, I continued to believe in my old friend Jackson Edward, the golden last king. How wrong I was. His heir Jackson Edward, who destroyed all traces of his father's rule for the nobility. He is a great opportunity to enrich himself. The king, a stubborn tyrant who is almost impossible to cope with. After taking the throne, he began to exterminate the oldest families. They only called his eyes, nothing more, for treason. What happened? An old man. As a child he was a kind, sweet child. Servants scream to their knees. Criminal. A man falls to his knees. Henry Morris, you're accused of treason. Do you confess your intentions to rebel against the imperial family? The old man is silent. Everyone knows so. The cheeks should be killed or arrested. But the great, wise, and magnanimous emperor proposes to the sinful Henry Morris. The old man glares sharply at the speaker. My ears wither from your lies. He shouts, stop this endless stream of shit and kill me. Eyes just like my father's. The new king thinks and says in a trembling voice, this bastard, kill him immediately. He points his finger at the old man. The king's finger. A knight with a sword approaches. Sir Henry, I'm sorry, raises his sword. Even when he's dead, thinks the old man, I can never forgive you. Them too. A moment later the sword cuts off his head. The dead body falls. The king viciously grins, feed his body to the beasts. So after 20 years of a single continent, the veteran archmage of the 8 circles Henry Morris was killed. R wakes up. Where? Damn it. He looks at the room in his memories. His head was cut off. Bahad's sword took my head off. What does Nasha think? Looking at the book and the headless chicken in his hand, the corpse of a duck and an old battered book. This is necromancy. I'm somehow involved in this. And suddenly he notices the mirror and goes over to it. God, maybe it's a dream for a young man to pinch his cheek. The nonsense that is happening about this, of course, black magic was used here. I personally eradicated it. But from where all this right was dedicated to me, I don't know. And where is the necromancer himself? The young man turns his head in search of it. Cannot be. But there is no one here. Then the owner of this body can be a necromancer. The hero picks up the book and flips through it, but it didn't work out. Probably due to lack of experience, and the book is too shabby, but I'm fine. That's really ironic. Just a couple of minutes ago I was burning myself from the inside, and these creatures looked at me like an animal in a cage. How I was humiliated. You need to understand what happened. Judging by the clothes, she is not a poor necromancer. Hero throws off his shirt, goes to the mirror. Yes, my body isn't chivalrous at all. Then maybe he'll just sit on the floor again. In this case, his energy should be concentrated around the spiritual core. Starts meditating to focus on it. But it does not work. I do not feel anything at all. He doesn't have a magic ring or a strong body. Yes, who does he? Should focus on creating a spiritual center. Perhaps then you can learn something most important to create a strong foundation. Do not forget that I am an archmage of the 8 circles, the former supreme master of the empire. One circle must turn out to be sure. The hero is trying his best. The hero tries his best to create a magic circle. I have completed the creation of the first circle. The young man exhales heavily, says, well, and how much time it took? His whole body is covered with sweat. For today is enough. I'll kill you. The finished bastard. Hero remembers the king's grin and plunges into memories. The old man is sitting on the floor. In front of him on the table is a cup. Not being watched by innocent citizens, the king's knights with swords stand and watch. An old man drinks from a goblet and falls down exhausted. He has drunk poison now. Oh shit. If I was a knight, even I wouldn't stop me from resisting them. Magic is much stronger than a sword. With its power you can disarm dozens of warriors. But at the same time, magic is a fragile force. The greatest weakness of a wizard is his body. If I was stronger, I wouldn't have harmed myself. Who knew that after I died, I would admire the knightly power? Now it is clear what this life will be dedicated to. Her friends leave the room. Look around. Notice a man sitting on the floor. The man is asleep. So this boy has a servant. So he's not just her people. Our cashier's old man wakes up. Master pulls up, scoffs, stands up, looks at the hero and stomps. What the hell? I think the hero doesn't understand how he treats his master. Should teach him a lesson in good manners. Yes, as you behave. It means that the young man does not understand. I'm sorry. What is wrong with you? Says the man. Did not get enough sleep. What is it that you did not get enough sleep? Says the hero and kicks his servant with his foot. He falls in pain, for which you are not enough, and again hits the man, this time in the face. My servant ignores me. Just look at this fucker. Servant turns away. Don't understand what's going on, master. Wise up. What does he think? He falls to his knees and asks for forgiveness. I've committed a terrible sin by offending you. Excuse me, a stupid slave. Look at him. The hero speaks at me. This was the last time. If this happens again, my hand will not waver and I will kill you. Yes, master, says the servant. I promise, but it won't happen again. What date is it today? 6th. The young man asks again. Sorry, I was going to say the 6th of July, year 20 of the Empire calendar. Hero flinches. It turns out that only one day has passed since my death. The hero pronounces well. What is my name? Henry Morris, sir. What did you say? The guy shudders. And your name, sir? You are Henry Morris. Something is wrong. And what is the name of my father? The Baron Hans Morris. Hans Morris, thinks the young man. Fate is such a thing. At least the name hasn't changed. The servant smiles well and remembers. I don't understand what's going on. Baron Hans Morris, a hero of the Unification War, got his title for military merit. He wasn't born into a family. The Baron wasn't given no commoner. After looking at his pedigree, I didn't find anything about this family. The father was never interested in titles, and the mother died naturally. The eldest son still gave hope. But I didn't get anywhere in my life. Maybe because I didn't have enough talent. Maybe because I didn't have enough willpower. Only Mrs. Moore's second son, Kevin Morris, Henry's half-brother, had any chance of success. So I got involved with dark magic to surpass not the law of born stupid, which means the guy closes the book. Enough for today. This family is unremarkable. They don't really have anything. Well, I'm starting low again. Like in the good old days, when Golden Jackson and I came from a tiny country called Mon. 2 houses. We didn't have anything. But we could, in the walls of the Empire, should do magic as soon as possible, thinks the hero. With you from the table turns the hourglass clock. 5 more hours. Up to once the light is enough to create a magic circle before sunrise. You can do a lot of things. But first of all, it's better to do the most disgusting. The next morning, the sun shines through the window. The guy is drenched in sweat and sighs heavily. For today, I've managed to reach the 3rd article of the circle in so much gentle time. Education comes from the meadow at the door. Sir, you didn't go to bed? He asks in his hands. He has a basin of water. The young man is positive. And I brought you some water for washing. The man says, and I don't understand why he is so dense. I need to prepare a bath. He asks his master. Not worth it. Wait for me outside. I'll be right there, says the hero. The servant bows and says, yes, sir. I get it, and leaves the room. He's changed. He thinks, a man. The guy snaps his fingers clean and it glows clean again. He doesn't have a drop of sweat on him. The charm. Then it will be more difficult. I want to move to the 4th stage as soon as possible, but there I will need a huge supply of mana. Unfortunately, this will have to wait. Hira opens the closet and picks out clothes. No variety, okay. With grief in half, he picks out some clothes and leaves the room. I'm hungry. Show me to the orders cafeteria immediately. He's doing himself a favor. Yes, sir, the man says nervously. They walk towards the dining room and the head of the family, Baron Hans Morris, is already sitting at the table. Must be the second wife and his son. So we have 4 people here, the hero thinks, and Henry's mother is really dead. How did you sleep? The man asks. Let's start eating. They start eating food. I've never been very social. They know a lot about food. The hero rejoices. Sure, it's not something I've eaten before, but it's not bad either. And what is this? He doesn't even know the basics of school etiquette. He's so not his relative. Isn't it normal until 7? Baron eats like a pig, Kevin says. The young man raises his head and asks what I will ask you to eat more quietly. Be careful what he says. The hero, his brother, laughs. From the mouth flies out pieces of food, after which one of the pieces fell into the plate. To the hero, brother, let's not of you tell me how to eat. Looks like someone's up. Don't stand on your feet. Stop it. It doesn't suit you. Hero puts in a spoon. I don't want to eat anymore. I think he's wiping his mouth with a patience napkin. My father asks. They had already decided which one of them would enter the Battle Academy. The Battle Academy. I don't know. We haven't come to anything. But still, the Battle Academy is a good choice. The main character thinks, if I only study there after graduation, I will become much stronger. And my body is many times stronger. But this one will take too much time, during which I could create a bunch of circles here. At least no need for years of training. Hero's brother breaks the silence. Father, there's nothing to think about. I'll go to the academy. I have a much better chance of succeeding. There's your truth, the man says. Henry, do you want to say something? What does it matter? The stepson replies. Such a person as he is not needed by anyone at the academy for days, will only be bullied. This is his nature. I will be bullied. The hero asks that I am wrong. Then why do you always avoid conflicts with me, weakling? So I tell people like you don't belong in the academy, says his stepbrother. My father says that Kevin, of course, expressed himself very rudely, but in some ways he is right. What can you say in the place of your father? The hero represents the king. I have changed, resolutely says in response. The academy is famous for its brave warriors, and I think you should have an heir there. They are not so brought up. The cheeky guy. The youth explodes with runoff from punching the table. What you said? I didn't contact you because of your weakness. Because I'm so much stronger than you. I didn't want to hurt my little brother, the guy says. Everyone at the table is silently shocked. Suddenly the father and his stepmother start laughing. The hero's brother also picks up the laughter. The hero himself is in shock. Don't you think that your jokes go too far? Asks his stepbrother. First syllable. Then my own family doesn't understand. Hero, they humiliate me. The father says that Kevin is right and there is no need to joke like that anymore and asks his son what is happening to him. I'm not kidding. The father replies, if you're sure of yourself, maybe you'll let us fight. I think this can be arranged, man. But are you sure you want to do it? Nasha says yes, if you are not busy. I would like to ask you to watch our fight. The man is a little confused. But if his son really wants it, then he will watch. Go to the training ground. Bastard hero, I'll teach you a good lesson. The two brothers stand on the training ground behind all of us, or the father and servants. Junior throws a wooden sword. Here you go, big brother, and the young man throws it. This sword will be his back and forth. This wooden sword weighs almost as much as a real one. Not bad, he grins. He's the guy's servant. I wonder if he's changed and can finally beat Kevin. Father says the rules are simple. The winner is the one who forces the opponent to give up. But do not forget that you are brothers. Start and hold your hand. Saying that the fight has begun, I'll give you the opportunity to hit first, says Kevin. Perfectly agrees. The hero starts an offensive. Increase in strength, increase in agility, speed up reflexes, and thinks that even if my magic is not as strong as before, it will be more than enough to take down the little bastard. With a jump, he reaches his brother, is shocked by the data, begins to scream and move away, but quickly recovers and repels the attack. The father is shocked that the hero retreats and starts attacking again. This time, the hero grabs his brother by the neck, but the other leg is missing him. As a result, Kevin falls, loses his balance, and raises his sword to strike. It's time to end this. He thinks he's hitting his stepbrother. He closes his hands more carefully. You don't feel sorry for your bones at all. I'll break them. Hero. Blow after blow strikes. Dear, stop him immediately. His wife screams. His father wakes up and shouts, Henry, that's enough. You're going to kill him. Don't you understand? Henry. Finally, the young man digs into the ground and turning around asks if he still has something to prove. My father admits that no, you don't have to. And he was right. Then we'd better get back to the conversation tomorrow. So the hero, let me leave you, and goes away. What the hell is this? Thinks the servant and barely keeps up with the hero. I've seen everything with my pancake-eyed pronounces since the gas dinner. He sits at a table and is also surrounded by servants. Yes, well, it is not possible to ask the interlocutor how this genius could defeat Mr. Kevin. He's much stronger than his older brother and has trained a lot more. So I'm talking about the same thing. Hey, Bolton, you were there? Confirm, he asks. The Kohol man sitting next to him is telling the truth. Kevin didn't stand a chance. The other servants look at each other in shock. Really, Mr. Henry has been hiding his strength all this time while the main character takes a bath and looks at his body. And yet not the worst body. I think he even has some predisposition to magic. Henry was too lazy to achieve anything. He was already 20 years old, and as such the basics. No, horror, it's time to take matters into your own hands. Fourth round, I'll try again. I don't know if it will be possible to restore mana using the circle technique, but he suddenly clutches his chest and writhes in pain. My strength isn't enough. Stop. I completely forgot about another way to charge. The Kohol guy's idea. Yes, master, try to deliver this as soon as possible, the hero orders the servant. The healing ones are right. The man looks at the list. You're sick. No, just bring them to me without further questions. Yes, sir. And the servant runs away. I hope that the herbs I need grow nearby. Of course, now everything will be much more difficult. Amazing elixir blue miracle. I made this miraculous when I was at the 7th stage of circle formation. It took half a year to create it, but it was worth it. Blue miracle reveals the full magical potential of a person, and in exceptional cases, even increases it. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to write down the recipe. Ours starts recording the recipe. It's time to fix this. Who knows what the future holds for me, but everything has its drawbacks. The blue miracle can become the strongest drug. The permissible norm for everyone is different, as Alexi also puts a strong load on the heart, which means it increases the amount of mana in the body. So many will try the blue miracle only once. However, it is worth making sure that the permissible dose is not exceeded. If you make a mistake at this stage, the heart may not leave, then instant death will occur. Mister, I came back. The servant comes to the young man and pulls a huge bag. I managed to find almost everything that you indicated in the list, but there was something missing, and ask what was not there here at the very end of the green crow flower. How so is everything sold out? Well, the merchants told me that the trade routes are being besieged by bandits, so they haven't been able to bring the goods properly for half a month now. The father does not know about this, asks the young man. He tried to catch these robbers, but they completely elusively answered him by a man. You want to say that he is not able to cope with a bunch of non-dark bandits. What a pity, the main character thinks, and suddenly we are going to kill him. He says in his service here is shocked right now, asks. Yes, I want to check on these invincible bandits. Prepare 2 horses and get ready to go. But, sir, you don't have to go there. Those places are dangerous in peacetime. And now, when they are patrolled by robbers, moreover, you will be all alone shouting, "It's ours." I'm shocked that you're actually coming with me. I didn't ask you to teach me. I need a crow's nest. Flower. Nothing will stop me from getting it, and so I'll go there as a servant on a horse. Horses are very thin, bones stick out, and there are no other horses, asks the hero. But this is your personal horse. The master answers the servant. I think I'll have to have a serious talk with the groom who's not happy. The cohol guy. Bring Mensch something else, the man asks. No, you can have something nice for yourself, master. He answers and walks away, leaving us and the horse alone. He returns to the horse. Poor thing. It's obvious how unlucky you are with your master. I'll call you Jade. That used to be my horse's name. She was patting me on the head when I learned the teleportation spell, and she went to her well-deserved rest. I'll give it to you. You get a new life biting your finger until it bleeds. The horse modification military often resorts to this technique. It was created by a person who studies wildlife in a magic tower with the help of this secret technique. Even the weakest can be turned into a war horse and draws symbols on the horse for successful minification. You need to be a 4th circle magician, but for now you will have to settle for small things like this. Finally finishing, the hero activate the horse modification. Horse, as if charge. I'm sorry, the hero says. I'm still too weak to ease your pain, and the weak horse has turned into a warrior, making the horse come out even better than I expected, says the hero. Comes the servant. Lord, I've brought your sword. Well done. Get ready to lead me. The servant is shocked, but I only ask my master. He found another horse. No, it's still my smile, says the guy. That yes cannot be. I swear she looks like everyone else, or else you think the liar is asking back, young man. That's not the point. Master, the servant says softly. I'll ask you again. You think it's a different horse? No, the man replies. Fine, let's leave it at that. Rather, lead the way. We don't have time. The man rubs his eyes. No matter how you look at it, it's a completely different horse. Did you get enough jewelry? The main character asks his friend. Yes, but if your father or stepmother found out, we won't have anything stolen. Just put it off for a while, which isn't so, answering back, lad. But even now the servant is starting to talk. The young man looks at him carefully. I get it. The man finally retreats. Just be careful. The main thing is not to lose anything. Yes, and they are rushing away on a horse. You should attract robbers for a day, at least a few pairs of earrings, or something, he says in his service. But I have never worn them, just like a man says. The young man asks now, master, the servant says hurriedly. I think it's enough, let's go. And they enter the new city. On the court is wearing all sorts of ornaments on his back behind a huge stone. The hero notices some movement and says, let's slow down. We need to get the bandits interested, sir. It's not too late to come back, the servant asks. I've heard so much from these bandits, it's all been decided. He says it. But if I die? No servant appreciates the words. He says pleadingly, just relax. It's a joke to stand. Shout the unknown in front of a crowd of robbers somehow quickly thinks the hero. They've been stalking us for a long time. 2 unguarded bandits. I wonder if they thought to check if we had security. One of them wants to know what's wrong with you. Do you want to be robbed? You are the head of the robbers. The main character asks the speaker. That if yes boldly answers him, then the decoration is bright enough. Once the leader personally came to us, that answer laughs. Who refuses free treasures to remove all their trinkets and leave the horses perform, and we will let you go. The young man grins at the words of the bandit. God, what are we going to do with syllables now? There are more than 20 cohols in there. I was just finished when you woke up, he says, and he doesn't understand his services. I'm sorry, what does this mean? But before he can speak, the hero abruptly knocks him out with his hand on the neck. The man falls to the ground without feeling. Wait, here's Jade, he says to the horse. Good girl. When she snorts back, what are you doing? The bandit leader asks, and you don't understand. He would have interfered with us, so I knocked him out. I hope you understand that you can't beat us alone. And if you don't, you're a complete idiot. Alright, boys, let's finish him off, orders the leader of his gang. 1, 2, 3, 4, only 25 disappointed. The hero asks, "It doesn't matter if you die anyway, you crazy bastard." "Let's see," the young man replies, snaps his fingers and calls to the water. Bandits do not understand what is happening. Water shrouds their heads, shutting off oxygen. You don't even have to bleed too many of them. And they fall dead to the ground. Fire. The man utters a new attack and directs it in the direction of the leader. He shakes in horror. "If you show up here again, I'll kill you, damn geeks," the hero says, watching as the leader released a whole puddle of fear. Our servant wakes up abruptly. "Master." "And where the robbers ran away," he answers. "Check the jewelry. Everything should be in place." The man doesn't understand what's going on, but putting the jewelry in the bag. "I'll go get the jewelry back, sir." "You're not going to steal, are you?" the guy asks, smiling. "You'd better not do this." "No, of course not. I've never stolen, and I'm not going to," but the servant answers. The young man takes his horse aside. "Welcome, sir," the groom answers. "Since I came in, I want to check the condition of the stable." "Are you sure?" the man asks. At the same time, the younger brother of the main character woke up next to him, and his mother is sitting on a chair. "Mom, what happened?" asks. "Ah, wait. Not happening. I lost, you bastard." "That's what happens when you take a break from training," my mother screams. "You let that scumbag beat the shame." "God, he's pounding on his chest." Impossible. Guy shivers. "I would never lose to him. He didn't do anything, and I trained every single day. No, it can't be. I couldn't lose." The hero and the groom entered the stable. The guy notices an unfamiliar mare and asks whose horse the Baron is. The gentleman answers him, "A man. I was assigned to take care of her, and this is a doctor." This is a head on another horse by its owner, Mr. Kevin. Their horse looks decent. I think the main character. "And why was mine such a skinny motherfucker? Where was my horse worth?" he finally asks. Here's a man raising his hand, showing the place. "Why is it so raw and battered?" A young man in anger doesn't care. "He wanted on my horse," calls her Jade. "I'll pretend I didn't see the horror the first time, but I know it's in your best interest to start taking care of her." He lowered his head and spoke. "Of course I'll get better, master." And the guy says, turning around just in case, "Don't forget about your father's and Kevin's horses. Mark my words, if the next time I see the same thing, a gray one is waiting for you." And the groom answers in fright. "Sure, sir," the young man answers, stroking his horse. "Night has fallen." "Henry?" "Yes, father," says boy. "We need to talk." "You don't mind saying the answer?" "Held a drink in your hand." "No, of course not." "How are you, Mrs. Morris?" he asks his stepmother. "Yes, my dear." It also clarifies. "Father, my words don't make any difference. Both of you have the right to do what you need to do. Let me leave you." The woman gets up and leaves the table. "She is not happy when you learn to wield a sword," the man asks with a smile. "I never noticed such a skill for you." "I didn't notice it." The guy clarifies. "It's just that it was high time to teach the younger brother some manner of." Father laughs and asks not to be so modest. "Okay, do you really want to go to the academy?" The hero says no. He thought about it for a long time and decided that it would be better to send Kevin. Why would he change his mind so abruptly? Surprised man. A decisive role in my decision was played by the fight with Kevin. If the academy can teach you the art of swordsmanship and anger, then the lessons will be much more useful. Obviously, Kevin is missing out on VC, but this morning you spoke completely differently from your father. And for the same reason you didn't want to let your younger brother go to the academy. Isn't that right? I admit I was wrong this morning. I wasn't myself at the time. But does Kevin have to earn admission to the academy? Hence, I have one condition uttered by the guy. Father asks the conditions again. Yes, father, I don't want him to just take advantage of my kindness. If they don't understand what our plans are for, then I want to put him to the test. If Kevin comes to you to talk about the academy, you refer him to me. The man says that his son has changed, as if he has become a different person. Does he exhale well? I will grant your request. The young man happily thanks his father and is still told the robbers have disappeared along the trade routes. The man is shocked that these bastards finally left us alone. Yes, at least according to the merchants. The hero says, I'll send a couple of people there tomorrow, as you wish, if that's all. I think I'll go, says the hero, standing in his room and wondering where he is. Kevin hasn't changed his mind so many times. Who goes in there? His little brother, says big brother. What's wrong? The hero asks. The father said to come to you. This is about the academy, the guy says quietly. This means that you don't understand a single word. You always mumble so idiotically. The younger brother answers that no, and finally gives a voice. then speak loudly and clearly asks him what your father said. The younger brother is nervous. Damn, this is definitely my brother. How could he change so much? Please forgive me. I'm sorry. For what? For my behavior because of today's challenge? I don't know what I was counting on, says his younger brother. Finally managed to get through to his stupid head, thinks the older brother, and says, well, I don't know if your father told you, but I decided to go to the academy. Hero is shocked. But the refusal does not mean that you have the right to apply for my place. Yes, we could study there, but it will cost a lot of money. And so, if you still want to enter the academy, I'm willing to give you such a chance with one condition. Like Bun asks, little brother, I'll do my best. Hush, take your time. The young man stops him. Have you ever heard of Right? Haliski territories, right? Helm asks again. The hero is in the north, so you heard I have some business there, and I want you to help me with them. The younger brother asks what his older brother is driving at, right? The farm grows a green crow flower. Yes, I could go to the merchants, but because of the situation with the robbers, they can't bring him here, so I want you to go there and bring me these flowers. Of course, brother, it's easy, says Junior. Calm down. That's not all. So what else does Kevin ask? When I'll get to the Raven flowers, it's only a matter of time. But the sooner I get my revenge on the bastards back there, and I represent my enemies, the better. And he says that he'll have 6 days for everything and not a day more than 6 days. Surprised, Junior, my brother, I will have to drive the horses at full speed, forgetting about halts and overnight accommodation. I do not insist. The elder turns away. You can refuse if my task is too difficult for you. The hero tries to stop him, and no, he's not saying anything. I'll do it, he shouts fervently. So he smiles happily. Young man. Night. The horse stall is audible. Some sounds of the horse do not understand what is happening. Finally does not notice the mare standing in the distance. They want to hit her. The horse comes up to her while sleeping. One of the horses bites the leg of this horse, shudders and beats the bitten one with its hind hooves furiously, remembers how it used to mock this horse and looks in surprise at such a strong horse. Everything is trembling with fear and go-go can be heard all over the yard, right? Where they shout the right thing. The next morning, sir. What's up? A man comes in. What the hell? What's up with my Grandy? Asks Kevin. It's not a joke. Yes, the horse of the hero of the younger brother is trembling on the ground without strength. What is the matter with him? Wipe his eyes. Stable boy. Maybe he's sick. How the fuck would I know if you don't even know if the guy's screaming? Please forgive me. I don't know what happened here. The man begs your pardon. Sit on your knees. Sir, I'm not lying. Yesterday. He was fine the day before yesterday. Shut up, the hero shouts. Just bring another horse and look at the other horses. I think, as luck would have it, it should have happened today, when I have absolutely no time. There is at least one decent horse here. I want this one, he says of his older brother's horse. Well, sir, it belongs. The man wants to stop him. Close your mouth, shouts the younger one, grabs the muzzle. And well, he was mad and wants to attack the hero in shock. The man has time to save the younger brother from the horse's hooves. So the guy shouts, not so much with her. God, please calm down. This is the master's horse. Henry says to the groom. My brother's horse would have sworn that his nag was much weaker. Recalls Senior Junior. I am aware that something may belong to Mr. Henry, but if you are in a hurry, please take Holter's spare horse. The guy is punching the wall in a rage, he says. He heads on horseback to Pood with all this to observe. Dasha, brother, we can only wait for a strong body. Only with it I will be able to endure the effects of the poison in order to gain it. You need an aura. It's like the power of war, only in the language of magic is different from energy. Accumulating energy in circles. It covers and nourishes the whole body. Learn to use the aura just by breaking your limit. Hardened in battles. The warrior will have the ability to use aura. And why don't you want to learn how to wield a sword? I remember my youth, so you will become much stronger. How did he annoy me with that sword? I think the hero is about his friend. I'm back. The master is here. Bitch, good job. Meet me after lunch as you wish, sir, says the man. The family chronicle says that only 2 people in the Morris family are more skilled than the first of them, my father. Hans Morris, your distant paternal relative, the man responsible for security, the security commander Baron, the commander who is good with the ball. I need to make sure his thinking abilities are heading inside. He is standing in the courtyard, looking at the emptiness in a quiet way. Does everyone work by? The maid passes by, and the master, you don't have to say hello to me, says the young man anyway. Maybe at least now you know where Sir Master is. Maybe he's at the training ground, and the girl and ours are easier to say thank you and head there. Who I see distract him, his relative. What brought you to these slums? In front of him is a wanted man. Henry says, it's nice to meet you, nothing important. I just want to ask you something. Ask, the man asks, but could you teach me how to wield a sword? His relatives are shocked. What are you surprised about? The hero asks. But the master is ready to swear. You told me that you were not interested in this. I changed my mind. Masha says. How will you teach me or not? I can't. That the day has come when you decided pick up a sword. Rejoices a man. I'm pleasantly surprised. Does the master want to become a worthy heir to the baron? Well, as something loudly said, the hero is embarrassed. The man laughs and asks not to be embarrassed, but, for sure, I'm curious about something. Is it okay if I ask? Sure, come on. So I heard you beat Mr. Kevin. It's true. Let's say they answer yes to him in response. You started studying without his knowledge. No, it's a little different, but I decided to take my training seriously, so from now on I'm your student, says the guy. Okay, I don't think you're going to have any problems. And the man thinks to himself, it's unbelievable. The Henry I know would never beat Kevin. I hope that everything will become clear in time, and says, can we fight, young master? You're with me, clarifies the hero. Yes, I usually start with the basics, but since you gave Mr. Kevin a gift, I need to evaluate your abilities, the guy says. Magic armor, he made his power up. Start pro means a man is happy to respond, and rushes at his opponent. Then it's easy to turn around from the sword and such a guy's foot. But the guy manages to block the blow, but in shock. No, this is some kind of misunderstanding. I think about the wrong place. Nothing, one who is not there, and in response also strikes nothing before he was so strong. Looks like his hand is shaking, not what is happening. He is hiding something from me. I'll wear him out. His jokes are over again. One fall and he blocked my blow. The hero looks at the trembling sword in his hand. He trembles like a demon in front of me, just like a guard commander. He's an excellent swordsman. Even without using aura, why would such a talent go missing in these slums? However, he still blocks, but is already on the last breath of strength. The man says that he is surprised why you didn't show your skills. Not such skills, just look at others and try to repeat their blows, the young man says in response. He learned this technique, just watch from the side. Surprised, think his opponent. Beginners do not move like that. That is, he already knows all the basics. I need you, says the hero. I shock my friend. What about the formalities? From now on you are my teacher, so you can contact me on you. Here's how surprised he says. Looks like he didn't expect, thinks Henry. Have you studied emperor techniques? Ask. He's a man. Yes, many emperors prefer them. In response to hearing Golden Jackson, in my entire life did not avoid the battle style created by Ewan, but now I have no other choice. Teacher says it out loud. We can start our lesson right now. The man says sheepishly that the teacher is a bit of a burden. Okay, since this is our first lesson, let me ask, what is the most important thing in possession of the ball? The hero thought and answers that he thinks stamina. Why does it? Ask him. Because it is important in any case. 2. Right. The man answers, endurance will help you hold out and survive. And now remember our fight. What do you think you missed? The guy says that I think absolutely everything. So I'm still a newbie, right? Smiles the speaker. If we give up on the details of fencing and that you don't have to stand still. Don't stand still, thinks the hero. Before Golden Jackson said the same thing to his feet. Here's the basics, but is their job really that necessary? His teacher says you find it hard to believe. Then let me show you an example of how much your mobility changes. You are, and I only defend myself and throw my sword on the ground in quantity. And so I don't limit you, you look down on me, says the hero. This part of the first lesson responds to him perfectly. The magic armor starts the attack. But the man dodges all the attacks and is behind the young man, so his neck is still enough to say the hero. Teacher, I'm exhausted even with my magic armor on. I couldn't do anything, this body is too weak. Look down. He says it's for the hero. You can compare your tracks with mine. See the difference? Our movement style is different, says the guy. Right. I was moving in a circle, and there was no point in moving you around, so I'm supposed to move a lot during a fight. Aren't I? It's not that. The man says the situation is this, and you need to assess the level of the enemy only after you understand the system of his movement, so you can predict where it will hit. This is not at all like magic. The hero thinks moving in a circle is the basis of the imperial technique. It's called circular steps. Right now you need to learn how to walk properly and control your stamina, so let's focus on your stamina. I understand, but why spend a ton of time on circular steps? Don't understand. The main character, his teacher, laughs. You are too impatient, can already start training. We will practice circular steps until then, and you will not be able to hit me. And only after that we will move on to the technique of possession of the ball. The hero smiles and agrees. Okay, let him start doing push-ups like this, but he doesn't do much. He's a brother without bodies. Healing and starts again running around in circles all over the field for nets. Watching a man in our world, the strongest survives if you're not hardy or slow. You're training to fix it. The master will be happy with your success. he says happily. Hero, waving at nothing, the fucking emperor. If it wasn't for that idiot on the throne, he thinks, I would sit in my tower and practice my magic. I've had enough for today. And Nasha is sitting in her room opening her notebook. So where did I leave off? And remembering again her enemies, the bastards who disgraced me and my comrades. I'll write down everyone's name. I close the notebook, and the next one opens the map of the western continent of Eurasia. The name coined by Jackson Golden. What a meager fantasy he had today to concentrate on the northwestern part. I hid my treasures and spread the facts around the world. If history had turned out differently, the blue miracle and the rest of the treasure would have become the property of future generations. But now I have to use them. I have nothing left to remember and mark on the map the places where I once hid. The monster opens the door to the room. The hero is shocked, turns around, notices his servant, raises his hand and asks, "What's the matter, Lord?" "Your brother is back," he says, surprised. "It's only been 5 days, so fast." She quickly jumps up and asks him to take her to her younger brother. The hero and his servant go to the younger brother. Around the door became per servant's servant cashiers. "Why are you here?" the guy asks. "The master is back in a terrible state," the maid says. Kevin is surprised. "Boy, yes, but you should see for yourself. They say that on the way home, he was attacked by robbers." The hero grunts, which means he thinks so, but I drove them off the trade routes. It turns out that others have appeared and goes to the room of his younger brother. The wounded man is lying on the table, and next to him is his mother and the doctor. The woman cries and asks for forgiveness for rushing in so unceremoniously. His mother comes up and grabs him by the collar. "Motherfucker, because of you. Like Kevin is barely breathing." The maid wasn't lying. The hero thinks, looking at his younger brother, what happened to him? They ask the doctor. "I think he was attacked by wild animals." "Why do you think that?" the hero asks in response. "There's no way these injuries could have been caused by a weapon. Bites and claw marks are clearly visible on his body. And the same thing happened to the horse that the gentleman was riding," says the man. "Everything is very serious?" asks the hero. "Yes, he needs urgent treatment to admit his condition was not good even when he was just going on the road. And now everything has only worsened. But to thank for the information. You've finished your procedure, you can ask." Here he is a man. "Yes, I did the best I could. Then could you come out for a little while?" "And you?" Mrs. Morris asks. He's present for nothing, shouts back. "What are you going to do with my son?" Kohal calls. He calls his servant. "As you wish, master." Finally, the hero is left in the room alone by the younger brother. He comes to himself and says, "Brother," barely gets up and goes to him and says that you can't get up again. The young man falls on the bed and thinks, but he is a tenacious brother. "I've done your bidding. I took out a green armor flower," pronouncing we're like a junior. "Well done. You have kept your word, and you will definitely enter the academy." "Thank you very much," says Kevin Song. "You need to rest. When you wake up, you will feel much better." Healing, apply it on magic? Of course. I'm not a monk. Not even a priest. On my strength should be enough to stop the bleeding and heal the internal injuries. The hero notices a bouquet of flowers on the nightstand. Takes it and leaves. "Now I have everything I need." Goes out of the room followed by his servant. In his room, hero brews a potion. "It's been a long time since I've smelled this fragrance, and there was a time when I thought that this drink for the newbie entry ceremony into the magic tower would not be like this after my death. Although other mothers will try to repeat my miracle drug, but their elixirs are pathetic fakes. After repeated freezing and boiling, the solution changes its color and smell. At the end, you need to dilute it to a suitable concentration for the consumer's body. One mistake and the heart will burst from the excessive magic power. I did not plan on such an outcome. Everything has to work out. Otherwise, the causes of side effects are just a matter of a person simply cannot cope with the effects of the elixir. So it all comes down to how well you will succeed in your own. No less important is that the control of magical power is not related to the physical. Everything is important here. The strength of the spirit and mind equal to the magic power of the 8th circle. So I should be able to handle the effects of the blue miracle. But I'm still worried. In theory, everything should go smoothly. The hero starts his drink. The devil thinks. He puts the drink sharply on the table. "Hot, it feels like my body is starting to melt." Opens the window and exhales the air. "Sit down on my knees." All in the chest boards comes out the dragon and its circles. "Yes, this is what I was aiming for. Go on. I'll take all the strength and energy." Hero, splash out their energy compared to last time. It's pain and something. Wait, the formation of the circle can't be happening. And so shocked, man. Wait, another one. Wow, I can't believe this is happening to me right after the 4th circle started forming. The blue miracle effect exceeded all my expectations. I am now a 5th circle mage. Again, it was not magic. Some people don't even have enough life to reach this stage. But those who do manage to do so are called up to the rank of wizard. Such people are able to fight back against hundreds of opponents. Control magic can match the skill of possession of the ball, may be able to form another circle at home. Boy. But the action of the elixir has already ended. Our window closes. Too bad the elixir only lasted for 2, okay. No wonder, because 6 players requires a huge amount of magic power, which is what Heron stinks so much about. Here from you. It's from me. Stop throwing off the cape. Terrible stains. They don't look like the ones left from sweating looking at your shirt in the light. I remember using a clean spell on my clothes. They weren't supposed to get dirty, but my shirt looks like it hasn't been washed in hundreds of years, and goes to the mirror and looks at your toned body. And now my awakening. The blue miracle has not only given me 2 circles of awakening. This phenomenon only applies to those who use magic, and the magic energy reaches its limit. She tries to expand her reserves, and then there is a restructuring of the body. Everyone experiences this stage differently, at all united by one thing: muscle growth. So nothing normal happened. Bad carries the hero at his hands. Spots appeared due to dirt thrown out of my body. Cleansing pro means he has a spell now. It will be much easier to train. Lord, your tomorrow is ready. The servant comes and cries out in surprise, "What is the master good for?" "Let's go," says the young man. He got taller. Surprised man. What happened to last night? He was a frail boy and just overnight became a strong man. So what are the ingredients? He used a hero, came for breakfast. Everyone is surprised by his muscles. "What's the matter with you?" father asks. "It seems that you've become much more ignorant." I woke up, so evading the question. His teacher's boyfriend is also shocked. I don't have the words. Yes, I understand that training has affected you so much. Even if so, whether you have grown too much. Okay, already. What's the difference? This has its advantages, says the hero. Now physical activity will be given. It's easier for me, the teacher says. Then we should increase the intensity of training. But we will also start with leg training. Excellent, says the hero. Is chosen to climb the mountain. The air at the top is always fresher and cleaner. And what if you jump upside down? He looks down when he jumps. A light landing is pronounced by him or her. There is a blast wave on the ground and an explosion occurs on the mountain. Pieces of stone fly off, which are directed towards the young man. He is shocked by what is happening. At the same time, there were 2 men on the mountain. They heard a sound, one of them sitting on the ground. And what is that sound? Maybe thunder, and at the same time stones fly at the guy. Freeze. He casts a spell. Instantly freeze. Not bad, Nasha says. Looking at the ice around her, the blast wave is directed at the mountain, which turned into ice. Now icicles are flying at the hero. He dodges them in a circular motion. Not a single icicle hit the guy. He exhales with it. I can accept his challenge, right? The hero has come to his home. I am ready to accept the challenge. Teacher, he says to the man who is already surprised. Yes, sir. He couldn't have mastered the circular steps so quickly. Okay, as I promised. If you hit me once, only my legs are used. We'll start training for the entire 3 hours you have. If you don't complete the task at the agreed time, I'll count you in. When defeat is pronounced by his teacher, I understand, the young man replies. Exactly, and still compliments the man to clarify the hero. If you lose, you will get punished. Okay, so it will be fair. Just check the level of awakening. This time I will not use the spell. The hero thinks his teacher is turning the hourglass over. We begin to celebrate this. The hero rushes at the teacher and dodges all of them. And so somehow the hero stretches out his hand to strike. The teacher grabs him and throws the hero to the ground. I didn't say I wouldn't touch you. The man grins and gets up from the ground and says that he already understood, and again pounces on the man alone, who pushes him, kicks, and does not let the hero touch him. Hell, I can't. It is constantly close. Time is already beginning to drain. The guy notices this and thinks, shit. The man removes it again. The hero falls to the ground and breathes heavily. It seems that time and glass have passed, so you lost. And yet you managed to surprise me. The man says to his student, you have very quickly improved your skills. So the next task will be to double your takeaway in 10 days. This day will be a reminder for you that before you challenge, you need to correctly assess your strength and mash a cough. It says that you understand. Night has fallen. The hero is lying face down on his bed. Ah, your mother. Really? Even after the elixir, I'm still the last days. I've been training for days and nights, dodged countless ice shards from wild animals. I just wasted my time. Need to find something that can speed up the learning process. Jackson, why the hell did you create this shit? Wait a minute. The technique I'm currently studying was invented by Golden Jackson. And what if you use a technique that surpasses circular steps? What was his name? And it seems to be exactly Hector Meyer, the Sword King. Hector Meyer. He had a very strange technique, but he managed to defeat the Golden Jackson. He was the last swordsman of the Forgotten Kingdom once he removed the Golden Jackson. But then during one of the battles, I and my comrades finished him off. This would not have happened. Agree, he's our terms. I have to ask Hector Mayer for help. Here it is. The hero opens the book. I didn't think that the day would come when I would turn to dark magic. How many mistakes there are. But at least the page is intact and it can be restored. The hero sits down at the table and reads the book. Let's see. The guillotine punishes criminals. The court that reveals the guilty. The Inquisition that cleanses the world of sinners. Magic, or rather the words primordial view, begin the trial of the word. Mistakes disappear. And erased words appear again. One of the best spells I created. The book closes. Everything is its own. Yes, now everything is as it should be. And reads the book. It seems to be more difficult to resurrect it than I thought, so that's mine. The spawn can be called a miracle. However, you can open the gates of the dead only once during the full moon, and in order to summon a certain soul, you need an object that is strongly attached to the nature of the spirit. Yeah, I see. So my only problem is, the hero says it, the thing left by Hector Mayer. The young man drew a circle. Arrive. He says the circle is soldered with a bright light. Inside there is an animal. A lizard. Haven't seen each other for a long time. Smiling. A young man. The summoned soul of a lizard has been asking for a long time. The greed of human nature has created it, and it is the spirit that rules the law of equal exchange. I even wrote my spell while casting your name. You didn't see it. I saw everything, says the lizard, and that's why I came out here. I wonder what kind of idiot had the courage to use such a sacred name. And so who are you? The animal. The hero angrily replies, laughing. I don't recognize you. I can't believe your opinion of me has changed so much. I thought you always liked me, even if I didn't admit it. I mean, you bastard, what are you talking about? Okay. Lizardman speaking. I'm the master of the magic tower, Henry Morris. My appearance is due to some unforeseen circumstances, but I'm still the same Henry Morris. What's wrong with your head? Calls out the summoned animal. Holy mandrake. We used to exchange holy mandrake and branches from the tree of evil. Do you remember how? You know, the animals are surprised. And do you remember something? Men continues. Then we exchanged a transparent tiger's fang and a flute and fate. As a lizard is surprised. I'm sure this man is already dead. Ushliapok. If you really are the same Henry Morris, show your magic. No one can repeat his unique symbol, except for himself. The hero compresses his lips, closes his fist and opens it in the palm of his hand. A dragon appears. No, I can't be surprised. What the hell happened to you? You're back on the 5th lap stage, and for some reason shit happens in someone else's business. I smile. They say, young man. But that's not what I'm talking about right now. Good to see you again. The summoned creature clutches its head. Nonsense. I don't understand anything. I've seen people become zombies, but you never cease to amaze me, even in death. I didn't call you here to frighten you, or for the sake of idle chatter, Nasha says. Oh, shit, I couldn't help myself. Okay, my old friend and client, tell me everything, Lizard says. Do you remember the Ball King Hector Mayer? The guy asks him. Of course, he was the only one who managed to defeat the Golden Jackson. Great, it's much easier this way, says Henry. I need something directly related to him. Can you find the same thing? This time you're asking for something strange. You want to bury it with the owner. Well, something like that. The lizardman was born for such exchanges. There are no things in this world that I can't get. But looking at you, and considering that you are just me, 5th circle mage, I don't think you can offer me anything of value in return. Hero in a rage says that it seems you underestimate me. The lizard is surprised. Wow, so you can offer me something really valuable, and don't even count on me to give in. The hero says that nothing has changed for me. Maybe I can give you some pretty interesting information in return. He asks if the summoned creature is interested. It's tempting, he says. And what is it that makes you so sure that I will be satisfied with your information? Aren't you curious about the hero's smile? You don't want to know how I was reborn. Reborn cries out in surprise and clears his throat as he cleans himself. Yes, I'm curious. Very hero. But it's about a thing that belonged to the Sword Queens, says the creature. I know you've ever had a successful rebirth before, the guy asks back. I still answered that no. Then we agreed. I'll tell you everything once I get the Sword King's items. The lizard slaps its head with its hand. Hell, you always like to bargain. They puff out their cheeks and pull the ring out of their mouth. It's his wedding ring. You remember that he was engaged to a princess. Of course, says the hero. Looks at the slime. This is what you need. Here, take this lizard. Purification is brought by the hero, a spell. Why are you so squeamish, frog? But it was in your drool. It's all about dark magic, which they don't understand. Lizard, thanks to her, I was reborn after the execution. Opening my eyes, I realized that I was in a completely unfamiliar place, and then asked him. And close to my new body, I found a dead chicken and a book. The man you see before you wanted to summon me. I'm sure he made a mistake during the ritual. And in the end, my soul supplanted his. How is this possible? The creature asks. I restored his book, says the guy. Its content was different from what I had to deal with, so I think that my rebirth was an accident. And what? It was more like a frog. All of you answer that I was reborn due to improper use of dark magic and all lizard matter is a brute. You've asked me again what a sneer is, young man. I have fulfilled my part of the contract. You expected to hear something supernatural. I already forgot some man with vinyl called the hero to laugh. It looks like you're the only one who's not happy with something. Shut up. He says even death can't fix a scoundrel like you. Now our people are getting angry. Wow, you've learned something for yourself today. Excellent lesson. Spits and disappears into the circle, leaving its saliva behind. Well, how cute he is, says the hero, looking at his ring in his hand. I hope there are no hard feelings associated with his sweat. And Arna drew a circle and put a ring inside the circle. Also made drops of blood. Think enough of chanting a spell in some unknown language happens to glow, blinding the hero and the brother of the dead Hector Mayer. You can see it. The man is Hector, the hero asks. The dead man opens his eyes. It's been a long time since I got here alive. He says, my ring. Where did you get it? She's always been with me, says the hero. How many winters, Lord Hector? We know each other. The man asks, I don't remember you. We are united by a story, says the young man. Let me introduce myself. My name is Henry. Henry. You speak a magician named Henry that is carried by the main character. Are you kidding? The Jerry I know doesn't look like you at all. Why are you lying? He's asking for me. He found it, and it took him a long time to confirm his identity. I'll give you this ring, let's not quarrel. I'm exactly the Henry you know, and I've been reborn in this body since I died, and I'm grateful to dark magic for that. The man says, dark magic? Okay, so you weren't just a simple magician. Didn't think you knew Basil's dark magic. Wasn't me using it, the hero says. This was done by a young man unknown to me. I'm in his body now. The world has changed since your death. We managed to unite the continent. Oh, I'm glad to hear it, says the man. I've always wondered how our story will end for you. I admit, we were not sweet, says the guy. Even though we became heroes, the Golden Jackson who founded the empire had a son. And it was he who killed me, Jackson's son. So he's driving now, says the man. That ignorant bastard, a dead man. Laughs. Great Danes always lurk among loved ones. It turns out that the hero was killed by an arrogant tyrant. In that case, my death was in vain. You're right. Anger fills me. I forgot how to sleep well. Don't you think we look alike? He asks the dead man. Don't you want to take revenge? The one who summoned me to do this wants us to join forces and finish off those who saw in us. It would be perfect, says the young man. But unfortunately, I don't have the strength to resurrect you. Then why am I here? I don't think you just wanted to show off your rebirth, right? Teach me how to be a child, the hero asks. A dead man, they ask in surprise. In their entire life. Okay, I'm dead now, but this is the first time I've ever heard such nonsense. I thought it was you, isn't it? And he says that the family I live in now comes from an ancient family of swordsmen, right? And I don't need to study magic too hard anymore. I've already achieved everything I needed, so now I'm interested in the sword fighting techniques of the laughing mage who participated in my assassination, now asking for my help. The guy is against forgiveness. I'm sorry if you're still offended to apologize. Dead man asks, I'm talking about our past, which is what he laughs at, and you're not as callous as I thought. Look, you said it was a fight back then, but it wasn't just for His Majesty. I was defending my woman's honor. Why should I, a knight who died on the battlefield, be offended or upset? The hero says that he understood. I hope I don't have anything else to worry about. The dead man says that good magicians always think too much. My ring didn't think you were collecting trophies from the dead. It's not a trophy, says the young man. I kept it as a token of remembrance of you. Of me, the man grins. How funny. You're definitely Mac. They're Jester or Bart. No one else has ever managed a Golden Jackson. Besides, you were one of the few sword masters of your time who didn't think you were so compassionate, uttering toppers. I just care about her. Your destiny responds to him in return. You're the king of the sword, the man grins. I became one posthumously. Okay, I will help you, but not for nothing. This is to be expected, says the hero. So what are your conditions? I'm glad you understand. The other person says, and so what is required of me is that I want to be reborn. Reborn, says the Sword King. You've already said that, but both of them were brought into this world by anger and regret. You're a great magician who survived rebirth, so bring me back. Life won't be so hard. I'm not sure I can grant your request, but I think about it, the young man replies. Well, I can't help you then. You're the only one who's going to lose, Deadman says. Okay, I understand everything. We'll have to find other ways. I was satisfied with our conversation. Even if it was short, the hero turns away, intending to do something wrong on the way. He notices Metlitz's movement, stretches out his hand to him and asks to stop. And not much, I beg. We all want to live. If you congratulate me, I will help you take revenge on the Emperor and teach you how to use the sword. My rebirth. Chance explains it, and it was with great difficulty that I summoned your soul here. Wise, screams the dead man. Look, I understand perfectly. Well, why do you think I can get you? A man doesn't have enough excuses. He thinks, but he can't say why. I already said I don't have the strength to do it. Summoning magic and resurrection are completely different things. Besides, I'm not very well versed in dark magic, and therefore I can't risk my life for you. I understand, answers him in return. So there's no other way. And really no, if I go back, who knows when I'll see the light again. There's no guarantee that it will ever happen. The afterlife is much scarier than I thought, says the guy. Sweet starts screaming. So I want you to help me. As a child, I was taught to pray to God. But all this, it was said that God does not exist after death. Only emptiness and suffering await you. Then maybe we'll try, the hero says. You've got some way. I don't know if the young man's voice will work. History has not yet met with cases of successful resurrection. Even with the former power, I was not able to unravel the secrets of life and death. But dark magic can solve this question. Continue, asks the interlocutor. Have you ever heard of necromancers? Necromancers, asks again. They say they are able to breathe life into dead bodies. The living dead are something like a lich, the man specifies. Almost all of them are slightly different. The accuracy of liches is alive. Even after their death they are tied to one place and are obliged to guard it. Then who are necromancers? They are similar to humans, but they are still human. The power of a necromancer is equal to the power of a wizard. He can bring you back to life. You offer me to become a living dead man, asks the swordsman. While this is the only way, perhaps you have learned more about necromancers. We can find some clue to start with. Think about it. It's better to be a worthless monster in this world or in oblivion. Well, agrees his interlocutor, all the best life of endless darkness. But he says, do not dare to break your promise, otherwise I will put a curse on you, which, believe me, is worse. Anyone, swear to keep your promise, knight. Cursing people, don't worry, says Henry. I'll keep my word. Activates the spell and sees the ring start to shine. I curse the ring, says. Maybe nothing guarantees your honesty yet. Don't be upset. The hero is confused. You're alone, and I'll be your guardian, and we'll meet every full moon. Okay, I'll teach you everything I know, and I see no reason to delay our training. Let's start right now, says the dead man. The hero looks at the ring and thinks, that's why dark magic is dangerous, that during the day you learn imperial techniques, and at night you are surprised. The dead man screams. They have moved to the battle arena. There's nothing else I can do. Yes, it's going to be tough. Fighting style is akin to habit. Then I will be the owner of two at once, says the hero. Mina laughs. Well, then you will experience difficulties and your own skin will be in the same pose. He shows a pose. This is how the hero says. Not bad, but it's not going to be easy for you to turn away from the circular motions right now. I will try. Oh, that's the name of the movement you're teaching me. The normal movement is pronounced by a dead person. Why give them a name? So I'll call it Hector's steps. Your business is answered by the man, and the knight shows the steps. This technique is one-dimensional in nature. Exactly. I'm a very energetic dancer. I will do anything to defeat Baron. Deep in the night, ours falls on its backside. Let's get some rest, the other person says. You seem to be serious about killing the emperor. Of course, the young man says wearily. Hard work never fails. I don't know what mages say, but the swordsman's expression sounds exactly like that. Mages, I think the guy also answers. Okay. The person you want to defeat, what are you going to do? Then you will do it, the man asks him. I will start learning the art, the young man answers. The dead man laughs. You talk about the aura, having barely learned to hold the sword in your hands. You're a great prankster. Shut up. The hero asks, irritated. One day, I will be able to comprehend the aura and become a swordsman mage. Well, you're right, says the Sword King. Wait, then I'll be the first in the world to be an old man who trained a swordsman mage. Can't imagine how strong you'll be, a man who wields a sword and magic. Unlucky for your enemies to utter. He's a hero, denies it. It's a no by that point. I'm already approaching the level of a sage. Good chatter finally. Holiday man, get up. We continue. It's early morning. The hero fights with his teacher Ram and knocks out of his hands, then says, writhe in pain, I can't believe it. I lost a hero. Surprised. Victory at last? Yes, says the teacher. Absolute victory today. Thanks for the fight. Stretches out his hand. Men shake hands. You did a good job. Well done, says his teacher, Daniel. I studied imperial art, and at night, Hector's swordsmanship took me 3 months to fully understand both directions. I was even able to beat the best swordsman bar of the hero of many fights in this house. Nothing holds me back anymore. It's time to hit the road, and the hero teacher laughs. No, I'm not saying that because I lost. I noticed this a couple of months ago. You are a really talented person. The hero asks you not to flatter him. There is nothing special about me. He says, no, I'm sure it's me. Taught you the circular steps. You've used this technique and transformed the lineup. A whole new style of movement, says Martina. Okay. Then I'll believe your hero says. This is the absolute truth, says his interlocutor. What are you planning to do? Now I would like to learn a lot more. But the thirst for power overcomes me, says the guy. His teacher laughs. All swordsmen experience it. Learning to use the aura is not easy. So I want to ask you, says the hero. What is the interlocutor about? And I will try to do everything in my power. Thank you. Teacher says, young man, I want to leave and join the Imperial Army. The Imperial Army is surprised by his teacher. You have already heard about the binding position. He asks the man in the position. You mean the set of duties? Yes, the hero agrees. The binding position of the nobles should be an example for the common people. So they made some commitments too. If you're strong, you use your power for good. If you're rich, you share your wealth with others. That's the whole point of the binding position. But our family doesn't have a high enough status, says the machine. We're not even counts. The hero says that he knows it is necessary to declare later that we honor the established duties of the family of a person who received his status for any merit. Demonstrative respect without duties will bring glory. So I will be ready to be accepted in any place. I have already decided where I would like to help, the man asks his student. Yes, I've been watching one place for a long time, says the one. You'll tell, asks the man. Forest of Evil, resolutely, says the hero. Can go to the Forest of Evil. No, in short, it's too dangerous there. Your father will be against it. He approved of my decision. His condition was to defeat you in this fight. Just made teacher broken. It's true. Yes, a young man, then. Idiocy, thinks he needs to talk to him again. Because I'm against it, there's no point in it. I've already made up my mind. Snaps the guy. Sir, did you really let Henry Giant noble duties, asks his relative's car. Yes, but first he had to beat you. And I did it in the room. Henry Martin enters, shocked by his presence. Especially father. Stop. Really? He asks the master. Answer. Unfortunately, yes, it's true. Dejectedly replied that father. Bangs his fist on the table and replies that he did everything that was required of him. So let me go to the Forest of Evil and help there. His teacher says, no, master, even if you promised him. But then there is a question of his safety. You know. Yes, this is how the father says it. But the young man distracts him, approaching him. The father says what is it? Nervously asks maybe. But in response, let me prove my worth. I must gain experience necessarily, or gain it in the Forest of Evil, asks the father. You are still young and must not know. But the Forest of Evil, I'm aware of the danger, the hero says in response. People call him the end of the continent. They say there's a demonic gate open, right? The Forest of Evil. This place is famous for being the place where countless demons have come to our world and instill fear in the people of the Empire. Even I know about the dangers. You are still going to go there. I'm a baron, and you're my first son, says the father. I can't send you to certain death, and that's the whole problem. The young man asks that. The man is shocked. If that's all you're concerned about, I'll happily give up the inheritance in this family. I've never had any rights to anything. So being its head, I won't get anywhere, says the hero. No, I didn't mean that. The man begins to say it's all settled. I'm leaving tomorrow morning. This is our last conversation, Bose. Goodbye, he says, and leaves the room. On the contrary, he closes the door with him and thinks, now we can finally leave safely. In the morning, Henry trains with the ball alone. He really is going to go to the Forest of Evil. I didn't mishear the servants standing behind him, discussing this, saying the Baron gave him permission. Yes, it was night, and he was still practicing. Finally he exhales, enough for today. For the first time I see such a technique pronounced suitable to him. Father is surprised. Boy, it looks interesting how you brought it together. I was told that you developed your own unique technique of ball possession, the guy says, and answers that he just changed the imperial fighting style a little bit to make it more suitable for him. I underestimated you, his father says. What do you mean? I don't understand. Hero, everything became clear after this fight of Kevin's. But why did you hide your strength earlier? The man asks him. No, I didn't hide it. Just wasn't given the opportunity to show, the hero celebrating. So what did you want? He asks his father. He says you've become a great man. Okay, let's get to the point. I respect your decision. You can go to the Forest of Evil. Thank you, my father Bose. I came to give you this. Takes out a letter that the hero does not understand. I know a man who now lives in the Forest of Evil, says my father. I heard that he is the commander of Fort Killian. So this letter concerns military service. The hero guesses what his name is. He asks his father, Aslan. I met him as a child. Back then, he was just an assistant to the person in charge of Osland's security. You think it's ours. If I haven't met him in my past life, then he must be a little known person. The next morning, Everyone sees off the hero. One horse will definitely be enough for you, my father asks. Yes, the hero answers quite well. If I take more, it will be harder for me to move around. The guy's servant says, Master, the path is not close. You will have to go a very long way to the end of the continent. The father put his hand on the young man's shoulder. Be careful of you. It's going to be a tough journey. Of course, he smiles and walks away. I'm finally leaving here. Think he speed recognize the spell and gallops on a horse away. Stone house, light, purification, softening. The heat is not made of stones in the cave, added to the light and softened to make it easier to sleep. Jade, he says to the horse, find yourself something to eat and relax. Then Jet, full of anger and frustration, began her relentless hunt. A week later at Fort Kiel, Lebanon. Someone's coming. They say the guards at the gate are asking for his comrade Sadik on a golden horse. I can't figure out who it is. Why would he come here? Maybe he's some kind of ambassador from the capital to talk. Two men. The guards begin to arm themselves with arrows and point arrows at the hero, who approaches the gate and descends from his horse and shouts to him to stop and ask to identify himself. He takes a piece of wood out of his pocket and throws it up to the men. Wait till he notices the piece of wood, how he was able to throw it so high. What's on it? It's in the hands of a trinket. He's from the Baron's family. Please wait, says the soldier, and the hero opens the gate to the Baron's family.